And welcome inside the Backstage Pass. It is Friday, Cinco de Mayo. Happy 5th of May out there to everybody. Hard to believe the first week of May has just flown by in the blink of an eye. And the weekend is around the corner, presented by our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey. Check them out, bangtail.com, easyliquor.com, or, of course, you can check them out at Total Wine and Specs in Nashville. Our friends over at Honky Tonk Texas, Randall King, May 19th will be there. Get your tickets now at honkytonktexas.us. And our friends at Gentle Ben Spirits, the vodka, the gin, the bourbon, is fantastic. I love the drink here. I wouldn't lead you wrong here on the podcast. Gentleben.com or over there at the Total Wine and Specs in Houston, Texas, down here. And again, powered by the Sports Guys podcast.com. And I'm so excited to have this young lady today. She finished top 20 on American Idol season 23. Olivia Soli here on the Backstage Pass. Olivia, how you doing?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited for this interview.
We try to set the tone at the top, girl. And I can tell you what, when my ear likes something, that being my own brand, I can put it on here too. Well, let's talk about this before I get into Tulum, which is out there across all the digital platforms, and the two songs that are a part of this record is great music. Let's talk about the ride. I mean, top 20 in itself is very, very special for you, and you're showcasing your artistry, trying to make the right choices in this competition. I want to get your take on it as far as everything, working with the judges, the coaches. What was your experience like?
So I personally had an amazing experience at Idol. I think I got exactly what I expected, and that was mainly just to meet incredible people, have amazing exposure, and be able to make people feel good, make people feel happy through my performances. And from the feedback that I got, I had amazing feedback, and that's exactly what I prayed for. So I'm really happy about that. It's been a long ride. We've been filming since September of 2, and I recently, I think it's been like a week and a half now, just got off. So it's been a while of being on the Idol journey, and it's definitely very hard work. Long hours, not a lot of sleep when we're filming, but at the end of the day, when you're watching yourself on that screen, it's so worth it. For real, it is.
Talk about, I guess, the highlight, for me, and I'll say you had so many different ones that stood out, performances, things such as that nature. But Hawaii, what was Hawaii like as far as the whole experience there? And knowing that I know Alan Stone came by, and of course some other great mentors that came through there, people that have, really done it in the pop industry, the country industry, meeting those mentors, and just the whole Hawaii experience in a nutshell.
Yeah. Hawaii was definitely my favorite, the filming of Idol. Because not only did we get to perform on the stage on the beach and have all these crazy mentors, and it was just so fun, but we also were in Hawaii having a vacation too. Most of the days we were working, but that 1 or 2 days of just being in Hawaii, our off days, was amazing. My mentor actually was not Alan Stone. I had Noah Cyrus as my mentor, which was awesome because I am such a fan of music. And I think she's an incredible artist. So being able to work with her and have her coach me and watch me sing and perform was it felt phenomenal. A lot of us got really close in Hawaii because a lot of us, I've actually been to Hawaii a couple times before, but a lot of us have not been to Hawaii. So we're kind of experiencing a new place altogether that was so out of comfort zone. I mean, Hawaii, I know we're in the country, but it almost feels like you're going to another thing. So that was awesome.
Yeah, it was cool. And I think going through the competition in many years, I've been paying attention to it, and always, I say, scouting for new talent such as yourself, and really looking at who stands out to me and who I can feature here on the show. How important is the wardrobe, the song choice, going through and making those big time decisions, that knowing that 22, 23 million people are voting, at least the last time they said, the counts were up there, and this was the most watched season out of the 23 with this top 20 that had tremendous talent, as you mentioned too, as well. Anybody could have come off this and been, the next American Idol. As far as the wardrobe choice, the song choices, listening to those coaches, trying to get great feedback and then put that advice into existence. Talk about that as far as walking through those type of choices.
Yeah, for sure. Wardrobe was, I believe wardrobe is a very big deal when it comes to your performance, just because I think it's a way of expressing you and your brand. That kind of wraps up the full package other than your vocals and your performance. We were dressing ourselves for most of the competition, and then up until live shows, we had stylists,
Hmm.
um, which was really cool. Like that's something to really look forward to if you make it to live shows. Song choice, I think, is also like a make or break decision throughout Idol, just because I feel like one wrong song choice that you do that doesn't quite like show off everything that you can do, and or doesn't maybe not necessarily doesn't show the best of your abilities, whether it's like showing emotion, not even just like vocal technique, but just other things that come into the picture. One song can like really throw off like how the viewers view you throughout the competition. So unfortunately, like that's how it is and that's the reality of it. So it is really important to really dive deep before the performances and like choose your songs wisely. Um, but yeah, at the end of the day, you do have to stay true to yourself and like whatever speaks to you. Yeah.
Let's go back to some music. I got a chance. You mentioned no great answers there, no doubt about it. Too. Staying true to yourself and being authentic is something you see all musicians have to do these days. Don't sound like anybody else. Sound like yourself and kind of be your own artist and know the cause and what you want to get out there. Once you find who you want to be in your sound and things like that, and what genre of music you want to go into. I want to talk about really my attention to when I got a chance to go back and review some music there. Boy Bye, which came out in 2021. Tell me about this one, how it got started, and I'm always kind of into looking at covers of singles and kind of how they got shot, the photography behind things such as that too as well. When you actually pick if you shot it yourself or somebody shot it for you or whatever it is, giving credit to the photographer for great photos there. Give me the backstory of Boy Bye and some of the photography in between that.
Yeah, Boy Bye actually I made with a family friend who happens to be my producer. His name is Lennon Leppert. He is also an LA native, and we created that song together along with one of my good friends, McKenna Moore. She was
Hmm.
another on the song, and actually Lennon was taking the picture. He's kind of like a man of all trades, and he took the picture of that. And we really wanted to. We originally were going for releasing this song around Valentine's Day, and then like just
Hmm.
because of it got pushed back to the spring. That's why we're kind of going for like that pink and red vibe. That also was me in 2021, and I feel like I've definitely kind of like switched my brand up since then. But that
Hmm.
also was my first release single. So that's always gonna happen between, like 2 years. You're gonna definitely gonna change.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I love that too, and let's talk about your connection to music growing up. I mean, around it too. I got to see a lot of the story there featured on the show, but I wanted to hear it from you too. It seemed like a young age singing kind of became natural, and of course, growing up in that very supportive family, mom and dad there for you, probably taking you on a lot of the gigs and the road trips and things like that to get out there and support you too. Talk about just how big that family support was growing up, and then that early connection to music from a young age.
Yeah, that's a really big thing in my timeline. Is family support, specifically from my father, Peter Soli, little shout out. He was the one that was taking me to all of my music lessons, and I remember he enrolled me in Children's Music Academy, which was this like little children's school where you learn all different kinds of instruments and how to read music. And my sister and I got put in that at the age of 5. So, and he every single weekend was there, has a chair pulled up to the little keyboards we were all on, and sat through like 2 hours of lessons.
Hmm.
And I really am so grateful for that. He really has pushed me throughout my whole career just to be the best artist I can possibly be, whether it's like being an artist that's able to read sheet music and play a different instrument. And he encouraged me to songwrite at such a young age, where when I
Hmm.
was in, I wrote a 3-track EP that is not up anywhere any other than like SoundCloud. But I was so little, it was like really Disney Channel vibes. But that's when I first started songwriting, was when I was 11, and my dad really pushed for that. So, and then also like my mother, my sisters have been such a huge part of inspiring me in my music. And they're always there at every single one of my performances. I grew up in Los Angeles, where I had the opportunity to perform at a lot of music venues there, such as I had my first show when I was 15 years old at called Vibrato Jazz Club
Hmm.
in Los Angeles, where I was the first underage female actually to have my own show there. So I did half of the set with a band and then half of the other where I was accompanying myself on the piano. And that was a very big personal milestone in my life just because I felt like I was so young and I almost kind of felt like out of place because it was a very adult environment and it's a jazz club. So it's a little bit more like, no, I didn't see anybody my age.
Mm-hmm.
Especially as a 15-year-old. So that meant so much to me that I had the opportunity to do that. And I have to just thank my family for encouraging me to do that.
Yeah, no doubt. I wanted to ask you about songwriting, and I'm going to do that on the other side. I'm going to take a quick time out here, pay some bills here on the show. Again, Olivia Soli, the single Tulum is out there with the two-song extended, or I should say two-song record out there on the digital platforms. Make sure you guys go stream that out there. It's a fantastic song. It's a jam. Once you do turn it on, you're going to let it repeat itself a few times on that two-song record there, too. And also, You Made Me Hate Me, which we're going to talk about here. On the other side of the break, here it is, the Backstage Pass, powered by the Sports Guys podcast.com. Also some great sports shows coming up here in a couple of weeks. We'll talk some football with a Super Bowl winning quarterback. And, of course, Bronson Arroyo, he won a World Series ring with the Boston Red Sox. He's coming on here next week, and we'll talk about some baseball stuff and get in the middle of some MLB action there and talk Red Sox baseball and a whole lot more. Thanks to our sponsors. We'll get a word in for them right now. More with Olivia Soli here. It is the Backstage Pass. Hang tight. Coming right back. Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
And back here on the show again with Olivia Soli on the Backstage Pass Top 20 on American Idol this past season there. Presented by our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey, Honky Tonk Texas, Gentle Ben Spirits. Sponsors keep us going here, so make sure you guys check those guys out and go out and support their products here. Of course, next week, a lot of great shows there, a lot of great talent. Check out the schedule at the SportsGuysPodcast.com, and some big announcements coming up here in the next few weeks. One I'm crossing my fingers with right now. We'll see if we get them to. Could be some classic rock. You never know what's coming here on the show here. Back with Olivia here on the Backstage Pass. So let me ask you about songwriting, because a lot of people compare this to therapy and just getting their thoughts and feelings out on a piece of paper and then being able to walk into a studio. I've had people tell me they've been in a restaurant before and they've either had to go through that personal experience or, I don't know, some type of something to be able to put it down. And the ability to create something and put it out there to the listeners and the people is songwriting therapy for you?
100%. I honestly don't know what I would do without songwriting. It's been a part of my life that is just so, it's so valuable to me and my mental health as well. I got really vulnerable with my new single, You Made Me Hate Me, where like that, for example, was something that like saved me. Like I didn't know how much I needed it until I finished writing that song, and I'm like, I needed this. And I want to be able to help people, and one of my dreams is to create some sort of, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I definitely want to create something that surrounds like mental health awareness, especially with like depression and anxiety. and kind of make it my own. And like that, I feel like that has to do with like a lot of that song. We can get into that later. Sorry, I'm kind of, but yeah, songwriting is 100% therapy for me.
Yeah, and people always talk about this, that real work kind of begins when you get off a platform like this. And I was talking to Craig Wayne Boyd yesterday in the country music category. He won season 7 of The Voice. So very similar type of shows, but of course they have their differences too as well when you look at it. But it's kind of coming on there, taking all the coaching advice you can get, shaping yourself as an artist, kind of molding yourself. And then Craig was talking about the real work, kind of begins when you get off a show like that. For you, I know it's just the beginning now, and Tulum really takes it to newer heights. And where I'm going with this song is just fantastic to me. It's already I used to work in a pop radio industry and alternative rock in country, so I've been a DJ out there. And I'd like to think, again, my ear has a good, kind of feel of what the people want to hear, what people would like to hear, top 10, top 40 on radio. For you out there, this has been music you've wanted to share with people for quite some time. I love the song Tulum. Tell people a little bit of the backstory there. And like you said, it kind of started with you made me hate me, but Tulum just really is a top 10 pop song on pop radio to me.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that was kind of the vibe we were going for. We wanted something very catchy and authentic to myself, of course. But I actually went on a trip in Tulum in 2021 when I first wrote the song. And I came back, immediately started writing because I was so inspired by my experience there. And I love those kind of experiences when you just are so inspired that you just like, you can't stop. Like I literally on the plane ride back to California, I was writing. So that was like a really exciting project. And I'm really happy that you like it. Thank you. That really means a lot.
I dug it. I'm telling you, I put it on that truck and cranked it up. It was driving 70 on the highway, luckily doing the speed limit okay too as well. But people who were getting in the car were going, "Who is that?" I said, "You watched that?" Yeah. Okay. Oh, really? That's so it really stuck out to me, and I love. Talk about the artwork with the cover for that single too. Where did that kind of get shot, and was there photography with that for Tulum? Beautiful shot.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, actually, one of my really good friends, Nick Whitmeal, he is a photographer in LA. He's also a really good friend of mine. He shot that we just kind of got like a plain like studio, like just a white background, and we kind of just like made it our own. And I actually had another one of my dear friends. Her name is Lynn. She actually styled and kind of put the outfit together. We kind of wanted to do more of like a crochet kind of like skirt that we used. Kind of reminded us of Tulum-esque, and so we did that in the shot. And the song has a very like sexy vibe to it, and we kind of wanted it to be like a low lighting for the shot for the cover. And I just feel like when you look at the photo, it kind of gives the vibe of the song, and you have to listen to it to understand. But the low lighting, the crochet skirt, like it just kind of says it all. I don't know.
Spotlight was kind of on with it, and it's got the sexy feeling to it. It's got just a good pop song vibe, and it really want to make people. The thing I got out of it too, and I told my wife too, and even my daughter, just dancing to it. That was the thing, man. I played it for my daughter too, and she's like talking now. She's almost 3.5 this coming October, and just words keep coming out. I'm like, I didn't use the word like sexy to her or nothing like that, but I told her, I said, just dance to it. And so without having to tell her, I was like, baby, just say Tulum. And she was like, they're right in the truck. She's going to school this past week or so. And I'm like, yeah, we're going to have Olivia on the show. And she go, Olivia on show. And I'm like, yeah, baby, we're going to have Olivia on. But she kept dancing to it. And the feel that I got from it is like people want to move to that where it's like move your shoulders a little bit and just have a good time with a feel good song.
Yeah, yes. And I'm so happy that you feel like that's what my intention was when I was creating the song. Thank you. Thank you.
No, I love it. Hey, let's talk about some of those artists that kind of shape you in that genre. I mean, obviously, icon on the show, Katy Perry had to be one, but I'm sure there had to be other pop artists in that genre of music that growing up really kind of shaped you as an artist, right?
For sure, for sure. Definitely Whitney Houston is probably my number one. Tied with others like Mariah Carey, Celine Dion, Christina Aguilera, kind of the divas, the pop divas. I grew up listening to their music, and through listening to their music and just being in such awe of their voice and their music, I kind of just like kept replaying their music and kind of cultivating how I can make it my own, but like learning certain things from their music. So like the way I riff is like I learned that from Whitney. Like I learned things by like, I wouldn't say like copying, obviously, but like you just like kind of take notes on like, oh, they did it like this. Pause the music. Let me try that. And like just kind of taking notes and like picking up different things from music that all these like amazing women kind of like shaped, like every little unique thing from their music kind of shaped who I am as an artist. So like I owe these women, like I have so much respect for them, and yes, those are my idols that have shaped me.
Great category of idols to be in. Let's talk about, before I take my next break, I want to get into a little bit of that duet feel of Hollywood, because a lot of people say when they get there, okay, we can do the solo rounds, we can do the showcase, whatever they call it there too as well, and get out there and pick a song, sing it. Some are doing originals, things like that. But that duet side, that's the challenging part. And that's, to me, when being able to work with somebody else in that tough of capacity, staying up all night, working with the coaches, doing the rehearsal, things like that. How challenging was that duet round?
Yeah, you're so right with that. The duet was the most challenging part of probably the whole show. My duet partner was Malik Hurd, who also made it to live shows. He's incredible, and we kind of just like knew we wanted to be each other's partners because we also kind of had similar icons and who we looked up to and similar styles vocally that we knew we would just suit each other very well. We picked it's really sad that our duet didn't even get aired. But we did the song Enough Is Enough by Barbara Streisand and Donna Summer. And it's like a very like disco-y song, and we were harmonizing and like hitting these like super high notes. And I was so proud of Malik because like he has obviously a lower voice than me. And he was just like hitting insane notes. Like I am in awe every time he's like it was such an amazing experience. However, it was an amazing experience performing and when we finally like mastered it. But I literally got 2 hours of sleep. I was exhausted. I like cried, and you're just running off like this super emotional like tiredness that you just don't really want to talk to anybody. You're just like, like, yeah.
Well, I felt too, even in the first audition you did in Vegas when you met the whole Kyra thing, and just talk about, that's pretty cool because off these shows comes that special bond, comes a special friendship, and have that with Kyra and some of the other contestants who are on this particular season. I think this is one of the most tightest groups that I've ever seen. That chemistry, you never know. Like I said, we've had love stories come off there before with Maddie Poppy and Caleb Lee Hutchinson, things like that. But to have Kyra and some of the friendships you've made, and now some of these long-lasting friendships down the road, talk about just that being a part of your life now, moving forward in your music career, that you have these people to kind of, having a bad day, maybe I'll call one up and say, hey, how's it going? You and Kyra now have that kind of friendship coming off of Idol.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that's like the most unique thing about our season was that the friendships were just like on another level, or more than I've seen on like other seasons. And yeah, I am so grateful that I have such an amazing best friend that I've got from the show. I mean, I'm really close to everybody on the season, but Kyra and I definitely like we're kind of inseparable. I mean, we've been there since the beginning together, and we came together. We would hang out outside of Idol, and she's met my family and I've met her family, and it's just like we just became so close from being in this like stressful competition together that it's like usually you wouldn't think that you would get so close to someone like you're quote unquote competing with. How like everyone is so different and so unique that none of us felt like we were really competing with each other. It almost felt like just one big like music like summer camp.
Which is that's the early rounds of it make it feel like a music summer camp when you're first watching it too as well. We'll take a timeout, pay some bills here, final timeout here too as well, and then definitely I'm gonna come back and ask you about exciting things in the works now coming off the show for 2023. Moving forward, I know definitely live performing is probably on the schedule too. Getting a lot of shows out there. The pop scene in LA is so huge right now that one of my best friends is actually moving from Canada to go down there and scope it out and in July, moving to LA full time. She's a great pop artist or too. I want to ask you about that too as well, coming back from the break. It's Olivia Soli. It is the Backstage Pass powered by the Sports Guys podcast.com. Remember, you can catch other episodes there if you ever miss one, or live on the YouTube channel too as well. And go download Tulum while you're out here. Do it on this next break right here. Just tell Brandon told you to right there too as well. We'll come back, a word from Bangtail Whiskey, and a whole lot more here. Final segment with Olivia coming up here. It is the Backstage Pass. Stay tuned.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. There's the Prosecco process, Gentle Ben spirits, the vodka, the gin, the bourbon. That's how they do it. The science behind it, man. The purity of the enjoy your drink, not labor through it here. And into the work week, get you some Gentle Ben at gentleben.com or Total Wine and Specs in the Houston area. Minute Maid Park, the Astros, go by the Gentle Ben bar and have a good time out there too with, like I said, when the club is back in town over the next couple of weeks there too. Back here with Olivia Soli on the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Monday, Greg Gilbert is going to join us, a fantastic country artist, and a whole slew of shows coming up next week here too. All right, I mentioned there before the break there, Olivia, the landscape is changing so much now with the pop industry opening up and all genres of music, but specifically pop there, because I've been to LA, talked to musicians there, people performing on street corners, trying to get their name out. They'll give you just a CD and say, here, go check this out. And it's really cool because I just really appreciate all genres of music. And I like to have, again, that ear to think that I know what talent is all about when it comes down to it after hosting this show for the last 4 years. Moving forward now, I know we talked about Tulum, but there's got to be a whole lot of exciting things for you coming off this show, building you as a brand, as an artist, performing. Just talk about how, I guess, kind of a two-part thing, how it's broad in LA with so many artists trying to get their artistry out there too as well. And then kind of moving forward, what's in the Soli camp? What's in the plans? What can you tell us?
Yeah. LA feels like the right place for me to be. Not only just because my family and friends are there, because I was born and raised there, but it's such a vital place for pop. And I'm just blown away with how amazing people like work and how hard people work there when it comes to every genre of music, but specifically my pop R&B world that I'm in. And I'm really excited to keep making my way into the LA pop scene. And I've already met such incredible people, even coming off the show, that I would love to continue to work with in LA. I also really appreciate Nashville's music scene as well. I've kind of dipped my toes in there as well. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to just kind of bouncing around and just digging a new home for myself.
You see, you got my eyebrow kind of went up right there. It's like she's dipped her toe in the Nashville scene. Watch out now, because there's a lot of singers I've had here on the show, and I can talk about doing a duet or just collaborating with Olivia Soli in the studio, writing a song, and I'm starting to go, who could that be? Who did she dip her toe in the water? Stay tuned for more. That's why we do these shows here and keep smiling, because you never know. And I'll keep tuned to the socials out there to see kind of what's going on. Hey, I love to finish up and have a little fun with this little rapid fire thing. It's just something people enjoy. Out in LA, I went to Venice Beach a few years ago. It was back in a little bit before 19, but I had a couple trips out there, and I lost my luggage on one of my flights. And so I get there to the airport, I get it, bag, ticket, whatever, luggage is not there, the conveyor belt, go report it, blah, blah. I get in the car, I drive to Venice Beach, and I did get a chance to experience it all. I got to walk it a little bit. That's where I was listening to a lot of people doing music and stuff like that, giving me a CD. What I loved out there was they call it a poke bowl. It was like a pretty cool sushi kind of thing mixed with rice, and I think some tuna was in it and whatever else. And it was kind of the Hawaiian poke bowl thing. First of all, what's your favorite food? Second of all, do you get into the poke bowl sushi kind of thing? And I will say Venice Beach was one of the best places I'd had one of those poke bowls.
Yeah, my favorite food would probably be either sushi, Thai food, or Mexican food. Those are like my top three that I have a hard time deciding which one's number one. I'm a big foodie. I mean, my stomach is the way to my heart. I always, yeah.
I love that. That's good. I like that too. It was some of the best sushi I had. Then I went over to foodie wise. A buddy of mine was living out there at the time, and we went to some Taco Tuesday, something downtown, and it was like the best guacamole I ever had and the best tacos. There was a little bistro place that was downtown that was fantastic too. So some of the best restaurants and some of the best, I say, hole in the wall places. LA's got a lot to offer.
I have to say, LA has the best Mexican food I've had in the US, and also probably the best sushi I've had in the US.
And you brought up the going to Tulum down there. We were actually near Chichen Itza down there in Mexico. Wanted to get over to Tulum, didn't get a chance to do it. But Mexico in general, Riviera Maya, and all up through their Cozumel and through that whole thing close to Cancun. I actually got to eat pretty cool. I actually went to a Mayan village on one of the excursions.
That's awesome.
Got to eat authentic Mayan food, which
wow,
I'd never had before. But it was.
I want to try. I on my way to Tulum, I actually stopped at Chichen Itza, which is the Mayan ruins.
What an experience.
It was I believe, I don't want to like say this because I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it's like one of the 7 wonders of the world.
It is. I want to say it is too. Yeah. Or was or is, but that's what they told me that same thing down there too, because we got to go. I want to say, I think it was my honeymoon. I could probably remember when I went, a couple times, but we did go, and the pyramids were majestic, and and I think the appreciation for what people do there to sell the products on the side of the road, the hand carving of the mask, and just the whole woodwork things, and just the appreciation of what they do to work down there and be able to sell their goods and services to people down there too. I checked out a number of booths on the property of Chichen Itza, and it was just a great one of my bucket list vacations I got to do. And then I went to the Bahamas, which was another kind of experience in itself, because I love the two things: travel, work hard, play hard, and just have a good time. And I can't wait to see you at a concert one day and hopefully sit front row and be able to just hear the talents come out. And it really, it's amazing. And to see who you collaborate with now going forward, and your artistry too. And I know the rest of 23 is going to be exciting. So let me ask you this one. What was your favorite cartoon growing up?
I feel like this should just be like an answer I just know off the top of cartoon. I mean, I really liked Cartoon Network. I really liked the regular show. I liked Dora as a kid as well. I feel like those are my only answers right now.
Dora's a good one too. I feel like my daughter's haircut is like Dora's sometimes too. The way we get it cut now, she's got those bangs coming down and everything, and it's really cool. Last show to binge watch. What was your favorite show to binge watch the last time you got a chance?
It's not on Netflix anymore, but Vampire Diaries was always like my go-to show. And right now I'm also watching the show on HBO Max called Barry.
Okay. I need to watch. That's
so good. You really have to watch it.
Check it out. The last one I saw on there was that apocalyptic one, The Last of Us, which was on there. And that's really good. I can't wait for season 2 to come out too. Left it on a cliffhanger, but definitely the next one. I'll check out Barry. I've heard some interesting things about it too. There was one on Showtime. I don't know if you've seen it, but Breaking Bad was actually really good with Bryan Cranston. And he's got one out called now Your Honor. So HON. Check out Your Honor. You'll get hooked in a couple seasons. It was actually really good there too. And what was the other one I saw? Was it The Last Kingdom? The Last Kingdom might have been on there too. Bits and pieces of it too. And of course, I love the wrestling out there too. It's always fun to catch wrestling when you get a chance. The male soap opera to take your mind off of certain things out there too. All right, favorite toppings on pizza? It's just for Olivia. What goes on it?
Favorite toppings? Mushrooms, pepperoni, and sometimes onions if I'm not going on.
You're the first.
Not going on a date or if I'm not with my boyfriend. I won't.
First one to put those ingredients on one too, and I rarely hear mushrooms. The one that was the fan favorite was the pineapple and Canadian bacon. Get the Hawaiian kind of feel to it, which I had just tried about a couple of months ago, and I'm really appreciative of how Hawaiian pizza come out. I did try some mushrooms on it the other day, and I was like, I just, hey, again, it was just a texture thing, I guess you could say. But hey, it's anytime you put anything with pepperoni, it usually comes out pretty good there too. All right, do you remember this might take some thought, but do you remember the first song you ever sang live on stage? What was it?
That does actually take quite a bit of thought because that was. I want to say when I was like 6, maybe, at the Children's Music Academy. I want to say probably was "Can You Feel the Love Tonight" by Elton John.
Elton John, the great there, no doubt about it. I tell you, it does take some thought, but you did pass the test with flying colors too as well. I tell you what, I love the story. It captivated my heart, and definitely a lot of the fans out there too on the this season of American Idol. So many big things in the future for her moving forward. I can't wait to hopefully meet you in person one day. Keep listening to the music out there. Tulum's across all the digital platforms. The single out there, 2 songs. Make sure you guys go check it out and stream it. The one, the only Olivia Soli here on the Backstage Pass. Olivia, we appreciate the time. Looking forward to catching up again as soon as new projects and music come out. And God bless, and looking forward to catching up again at some point.
God bless you as well. And thank you so much for having me. I really, really, really appreciate it.
I love it too. Love the story, no doubt about it. Again, Tulum across all the platforms. Go give her a like on social media, and so much more coming for this young lady in the pop sanctuary and, of course, the pop industry out there. That genre of music, go support her. And I just can't wait to see you on a major tour one day as well. And I'm going to be right there sitting probably front row watching someone had the chance to meet here on the Backstage Pass. We're back Monday with Grant Gilbert and a whole slew of shows next week here on the Backstage Pass, powered by the Sports Guys podcast.com. We'll see you guys Monday about 4 o'clock here on the show. Until then, have a great weekend. Happy Cinco de Mayo. If you do something, make sure you do it safe with our friends at Bangtail Whiskey and Gentle Ben Spirits. Talk to you soon. Have a great night.